Hi, welcome back to Julie, Keeper of My Home. Today I'm going to take you on a day in the life in my kitchen, here in my kitchen. There's always so much to do here. Even though it's just my husband and I, there's still always so much to do. So for me, I like to prep. Doing things ahead of time is a huge time saver. So that's really key to, getting a lot of things done. And today is a Saturday for us here. So we have church tonight. That means I have a shorter day, so I need to get a lot packed into my shorter day. And again, prepping is going to be key to that. So if you have those days where you're in a rush, you have a shorter day, it's cut short by whatever the reason, prep everything. Do as much as you can, as early as you can in the day. Get things started. Do multiple things. There's lots and lots of things that you can get going that can be running that don't require all of your time all at once, and you can just kind of knock them all out. So why don't we get started?
For dinner tonight, I am just making a really quick little cobbler. All this is some chopped apples and some fresh cranberries. I am just adding a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of brown sugar, mixing that all up, a little bit of flour, and I'm throwing those into some little dishes, and I'm going to make the cobbler. The cobbler part of it, the dough top, is some sourdough einkorn biscuits. These I got from the Farmhouse on Boone website. Lisa Bass has that recipe there. If you'd like that recipe, you can go to her website. These are delicious. I love einkorn flour. It just has a wonderful flavor to it, very nutty. My husband and I love it, so this has become one of our new favorite desserts. If you have never used einkorn flour, it is really good. It's an ancient grain. It's something that is easier for your stomach to digest if you have digestion problems with flours. This is a much better option for you. It's high in antioxidants, and einkorn flour does not spike insulin levels like many grains do. And since my husband is a type 1 diabetic since the age of 4, we like to avoid those types of foods. As a little bit of added something special to this little dessert, I did take some homemade cranberry apple juice and I poured a little bit in the bottom just to kind of let all of those apples and the cranberries just kind of cook in those juices and give it a little bit more flavor. Now I'm just going to put these in the refrigerator and bake them off later. The rest of the biscuits that I did not use, I'm going to wrap up, then put into a Ziploc bag and throw them in the freezer. Make sure if you do this, you label your baggie because you're not going to remember what's in there later. And yes, that is experience talking. Always date, put the amount and what you are putting in the baggie. The link to the video where I make this bar dish soap, I am going to leave above, and I'm also going to leave it in my description box for you if you're interested. We love sauerkraut in our home. We brought our children up eating sauerkraut, and it's just so healthy for you. It has so many health benefits. It's gut healthy. That's, to me, I'm not a yogurt eater, so this is my thing. If you're interested in a more detailed video of how to make sauerkraut, let me know in the comments below. Bread is something I make every week here. I've been making it since our kids were small. It's just, we don't buy bread from the store. Homemade, I know what's going into it. I know I've said that so many times. I like to make foods where I know what's going into it. It's wholesome, it's good for you, it's nutrient dense, and that is important to me. For lunch, we are having chicken salad sandwich. My husband and I are going to split this. It's leftover chicken. Just going to throw in an apple and some pecans, mix that all up with some garlic powder, onion powder, salad dressing, and some homemade hamburger buns. If you're interested in the recipe for these homemade hamburger buns, stay tuned to the end of this video and I will share where you can find that. In here you can see I have frozen rotisserie chicken and just some bones from another rotisserie chicken. I'm just going to put that in the Instant Pot. I save all of my peelings from garlic, onions, even if you had carrot peels, they'd be good. I'm going to put those in there. Just whenever I peel an onion or a carrot or anything like that, I just put it in a bag and throw it in the freezer. You can see here I have carrot peels, my carrot. And put that all in there. A little bit of onion peel in there as well. Okay, and these are some onions from what we had from last summer. They're just little. These are the ones that didn't really grow much. So what I'm going to do is cut them. Just going to cut them in half just to open them up and pull some flavor out. Now again, these aren't very big, but they're good enough to flavor a broth. It's going to be kind of like a vegetable chicken broth because got a few vegetables in it and the chicken. That in there. I love the flavor of the onion. I think that's plenty. Do that last one. Okay, these are some carrots from our garden last year. Still good carrots. Listen to this. Still really good. Those are some of the smaller ones. I'm going to put those in here. And also I have some celery that's starting to be on its final days, I think. All right, this is just a container of minced garlic. Just going to shake this in here just for some extra garlic flavor. Now, I could honestly put a garlic clove in there. I do have some garlic peels and stuff in there, but I don't want to use up my good garlic. I don't have that much left. Generally I would, but I really don't have a lot left, so I'm not going to use it in here. I can use the minced garlic just as well. This is a little bit of thyme. I like thyme. I like it in my soups. I like it in my stews, so I know it's going to taste good in a bone broth. This is cumin. I like cumin. It's healthy for you. It gives it a little bit of flavor. And we are also going to add a little bit of garlic powder. We like garlic and it is so good for you. And a little bit of onion powder. All right. Most important thing we want to add is some vinegar. Now this is the vinegar, apple cider vinegar with the mother. Should I be able to get it open? There we go. I'm going to add a little bit. There. Probably a healthy 2 tablespoons, I'm going to say. Oh, I can't forget this. This is something else that I keep on hand. These are my cutoffs to my asparagus. And when I store my asparagus in my refrigerator, before I do it, I kind of like snap off the ends. It'll break off where it wants to, where the, woody meets the more tender part. So I keep these. These are great to throw into your bone broth because asparagus is so incredibly good for you.
After that, we are going to add water. Now this is water from my Berkey, so it's distilled or purified, filtered, whatever you want to call it. As far as how much water to put in here, well, let me see if I can get you in here to show you. I'm really kind of watching like the sides. Watching the sides to see how high up it comes. I don't want it all the way up. I think that's as far as I want it because I want it to gel. Yeah, that's as far as I want it. So you can see right there. That's as far as I want the water to come. And once I have the water in there, I'm going to put the cover on, make sure it's on venting, and I'm going to hit the manual button. And I'm going to put it all the way up to 240. That is where I usually set it, and I also have it on high pressure. I'm going to let that run its course, and then I'm going to run it through again at 190. So that's how I make my bone broth. Now what to do with the extra chicken? We're going to have a chicken soup, chicken stew for supper. So let's get that prepped. I'm just going to add my chicken. It's just mostly the breasts that are left, and have some onions that I had in the refrigerator that are left over from something that we use them for. So I'll put those in there. And I'm going to add some chicken broth. It's just some chicken broth that I made. And dump that in. It does have a little bit of fat in there. I'm not going to add just a little tiny bit of that. And also going to add a little bit of another one, just so that we make sure we have enough.
I'm going to let this quietly simmer on the stove for a little while just to break that meat down really good, soften it up, and make it just so that all the flavors come together. I'm going to be moving this over to the cook stove and let it simmer there, but Joe's cleaning it right now, so I've got to wait until he's finished.
So we have the chicken on. Now let's get some of the vegetables cut up. Now, again, this is what we put in with the bone broth. It's just leftover pieces of asparagus. I like to use these, I mean, just because they're a little bit woody. I think if you ate them like this, cooked them, you know, with your asparagus, I think you would feel the woodiness of them. But chopping them up like this and putting them into a soup or a stew, you're not going to notice. Another thing that I do with these, I will throw these in a salad. If I'm making myself a green salad, or my husband, this is what I do. I just chop them up into pieces like this, and I throw them, sprinkle them all over the top of my salads. That is why I've said this before, waste not, want not. It's what my mother taught me. It's what her mother taught her before, and, you know, on and on down the line. It's just, it makes sense. I mean, it's being a good steward of what you're given. You know, God wants us to be mindful of what we're using and not waste. And I feel very blessed to be able to have what we do have. So I am going to use it to the best that I know and not waste. This is prepped and done. So we can throw this in the soup when we get ready. This is a glass lock dish. I love these. These are great for storage. Put this on top and I store it in the fridge. It lasts for a very long time. We have some, this has been in my refrigerator for probably, I bet, 5 weeks. And I mean, it's still good. How do you revive this? You throw it in water. Since we are throwing it into a stew, it is going to be revived. The rest of what we don't use in the stew is going to go into the dehydrator, and we're going to dehydrate it for soups later. So when I do store these, I put them with a napkin on the bottom, these in there, use my glass lock. It lasts for a very long time in my refrigerator. Amy Cross from the Cross Legacy. If you have not heard from her, she does have a YouTube channel and she also has a blog by the same name. And you can get all of tips like this and more. She is the creator of Strawberries in a Jar, if you've not heard of that. All of these scraps, by the way, the pieces that I'm cutting off, these are just the brown ends. I'm throwing them into my bucket. I have a chicken scrap bucket. Throw all of that in there so nothing goes to waste. So that makes me very happy. And these pieces of celery are going to go into our soup today. I don't need a lot, but I just need enough to give it a little bit of flavor. These are carrots from our garden. We picked these in October of last year, and it is March, and these are still quite fresh. For this, I am chopping these up and I'm gonna put them in with the celery, and we're going to add them to our soup later. I might just take those ends off of from my asparagus, take them out of that container and put them all in together with this as well. The pieces, the ends off of my carrots, I'm not giving those to the chickens because they can't eat this. So what I do is I put this into a bag and I throw it in my freezer and I use it in chicken stock. So, like I said, nothing gets wasted. You can now find Julie, Keeper of My Home, on Facebook. I created a page that will serve as a blog, a landing page of sorts. You can find recipes, more explanations on some of the things that I do here on my channel. I'll post my videos on there, we'll do lives, all kinds of things. A lot of interaction, and I cannot wait to see this page grow. So if you are on Facebook and you would like to join Julie, Keeper of My Home over there, then just click the link below or just go on to Facebook and look me up and you'll find me. You'll also find the hamburger bun recipe over there, so hurry on over, check it out. I create 2 new videos every week on simple living, homestead grown, and all things home. So until next time.